Good afternoon-ish, everybody. For those who don't know me, I am Coral Norman. I'm the Director of Digital Media here at Pink Dog Digital. Gina is having some technical difficulties this morning. She is on vacation and her Wi-Fi is not working the way that she expected it to. So we are gonna roll on anyway, and Corey and I will just take over until she can figure out her Wi-Fi or whatever else happens. No big deal. But I'm sure she just chimed in the chat. So I'm sure we'll hear from her in chat as she's able to. So the main purpose of this webinar today is to discuss the recent Google I/O announcements. These were pretty big. We've sent out an email about it, a little bit of other information just that everybody kind of knows what's going on. But these are a big deal coming from Google, and mostly what it was centered around this year, which will shock absolutely nobody, was AI and how search is going to change to basically be a whole lot more AI focused and a little bit less of the traditional type of search that we're used to. And Corey brought up the recap. We knew we needed to talk about it. We had a different webinar planned for this month originally, but this was one of those things that we really did not want to let just kind of like live out there without talking about it. So we're excited to pop out some information about this because it is going to affect businesses from small B2B businesses to huge e-com companies. So we're going to see a lot of changes as we go through this. Corey's going to walk you through what happened at the event, and then I'll give you some information on what that means for your market to go forward and figure out the best ways to continue to pivot and change as these things happen. So we'll also have the floor open for questions. Anybody who's been in here before knows that we're more than happy to answer questions as we go. Neither Corey nor I are a huge fan of just talking at people. So please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat as we go through, and we will be happy to answer as we go. So I'm going to turn this over to Corey to introduce himself real quick, and then to start kind of giving some information on Google I/O, what it is, what happened, and where we're headed.
All right, thanks, Coral. So if you don't know me, my name is Corey Vasilzik, and I am a digital media strategist here at Pink Dog. I work mostly with PPC campaigns, SEO, AI, many different hats I wear at this agency, which I'm very happy for. So Google I/O is Google's annual developer conference, basically. A lot of the things that they discuss at this conference are really geared towards programmers, developers, that sort of crowd. But there are also a lot of announcements made at this conference that are relevant for people who aren't techies like us, people like you, small business owners, and consumers of Google's products. Because the changes that they make to their products affects the entire ecosystem. As Coral alluded to, this year was all about AI, which is not really anything new because the last few years have been about AI. I believe in 2024 is when they announced the search generative experience, which ended up becoming Gemini. And last year was the announcement of AI mode. So AI has really been a focus for Google over the last several years. This year was no exception, but it felt a little bit different because what they were essentially putting forth was a radical reimagining of the search experience, which I believe is the biggest change to search pretty much since Google started 25 years ago. I mean, that's the way that Google CEO Sundar Pichai really framed it. It's the biggest update to search in their history. So it's not something that they're going to throw around lightly. It's anything that they're going to announce with that framing is going to be big. In addition to Google I/O, there was also Google Marketing Live, which is more geared towards the advertising side. Some of the stuff we'll be talking about today will also uh, be drawn from the marketing live talk. Um, but we'll start with just the big one, the search changes. Um, and really, the way that they presented it was that they were going to make a big change to the search box itself. If you go to Google now, you'll see if you've been keeping tabs on it, you'll see that the search box is a little bit different now than it used to be. Um, there's now a very prominent AI mode button. There's a plus sign where you can add in images. You can change the AI model. It looks almost like a ChatGPT search box or a Gemini search box or a Claude search box. That's by design because Google wants to make they want to make their search product function more like an AI product. Liz Reed, who's the vice president of search for Google, uh, was quoted. She said, "Before the search box was a contained space, and now it's totally reimagined with AI." So, what does it mean? It means that search is now technical name is like a multimodal search. Basically, you can give search any input. You can give it an image. You can give it a long prompt. You can give it a short prompt. You can give it anything, and you can get information based off of that search. Um, AI mode is becoming much more prevalent. I know there was a lot of fear that AI mode would become a default for Google. I'd always said that Google wasn't going to make AI mode a default until they were able to monetize it because there's just too much money in search ads for them. It's too much of their revenue source. And then, of course, during Marketing Live, they went and announced that they were piloting and launching it, but ads in AI mode. So proving me wrong, but regardless, if you put a search into Google, if you put a query into Google search, you will, and you press enter like you would normally, you're going to get the regular search experience. But the intention with having a big AI mode button right there at the search box is that they're expecting people that they're going to click the button and go straight to AI mode. So it's the direction that we're headed in right now. Other big changes to search, um, basically with AI being so I guess interwoven into the product, we're seeing more and more AI overviews, um, and basically AI overviews and AI mode are kind of combining into one product. um, I mean, if you have an AI overview in your search query results and you click on click for more information or whatever, um, it automatically sends you to AI mode, so you can then ask follow-up questions. Um, Search is going to have memory retained across sessions. So this is kind of an evolution of what we've already seen with search having a history of your searches, right? If you put in a search on Monday and then on Wednesday you search the same thing, you have like it's there retained. But this is going to be a lot more robust and it's going to function more like an AI LLM product in the search product itself.
Can you guys
AI is
hear
going
me?
to, yeah, yeah, we can hear you now. Hello.
I'm back. Yay.
um, you're going to be able to ask the search for follow-up questions if you have follow-up questions. And another big thing that they pushed, which was big, was agentic features. So AI that can actually do tasks for you. Um, Again, a lot of this was geared towards developers. So they previewed like an entire operating system that they built with their AI systems and all this sort of thing. But the one thing that they did show off that's relevant for us is that with AI agentic systems coming, you can set up alerts for flight tickets, for concert tickets, for sneaker drop, all sorts of commercial things. And the big thing is that you're going to have direct links in these AI outputs that people can use to take action, or to have their agent basically um, complete whatever action. So right now, a lot of these changes are being piloted by AI paid members. I think it's AI Pro and AI Ultra, or it's the two higher tiers of the Google AI um, paid tier list. Um, some of them are already live. I mean, the search box as itself, all the changes that they made to the search box are currently live. Um, but this is the direction that we're headed, and it's only a matter of time before many of these systems are rolled out to the general public. Um, so, in uh, I guess, what's the takeaway for a business? Uh, Ranking at the top of Google just isn't what it used to be, and it's something that we've talked about before in these webinars with the concept of zero-click search and how much that's increasing and how it's increased over the years. But it's really taking off now. Um, AI mode has, according to Google, from their conference, over 1 billion monthly users, and the number of queries are doubling every quarter since they launched it last year. AI overviews, there's over 2.5 billion monthly active users. The Gemini app has over 900 million. And I have a stat here. Uh, the AI overviews trigger on about 58% of queries total. And I believe that's up from 14% at either the beginning of 2025 or end of 2024. It was about a year ago. So it's really, really going up. For local queries, AI overviews are now triggering on about 40% of queries. And if there's an AIO present in the query, the click-through rate for position one goes down from 27% to 11%. So that's a pretty sizable decrease, and it's something that necessitates a fundamental rethinking of the way that you approach your online presence. So, um, I will flip this back over to Coral and talk more about AI mode.
I think can we pause for a second and see if there are any questions, because you just went through a lot of technical information and we know what you're talking about, but the audience may not. So Jeremy has a okay, great. Jeremy has a question and Coral already answered it. Does anyone in the audience have any questions about any of the terminology or functionality that Corey mentioned? Because this is in our everyday wheelhouse, but it may not be in yours. So let's see if anyone has any questions related to that before we go back to Coral.
Yeah, a lot of what they showed off at this conference was pretty crazy. I mean, you can have the AI overview generate entire diagrams and tables and everything just through prompting it. It's really getting to be more and more like a Gemini or a Claude.
So Eileen
asked
asked,
if you said Agentic was currently just for paid.
Yes, it is currently for the two highest tier paid tiers of the Google AI. I think it's for Gemini users. It's a little bit confusing because they have so many different AI products that all run on Gemini. But yeah, I believe at the moment for this summer, it's going to be just for those two paid tiers. But it's something that they're going to be rolling out in the near future.
it's
Probably by the
Pro
end of the
and
year.
something else.
Yeah, I think Pro and Max, maybe Ultra.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Is it
Yeah.
Pro and
like that.
Ultra? Yeah.
$100 a month and $200 a month plans.
Which is significantly higher than any of the other paid LLMs out there.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Corey before I pop into some of the marketing conversation? All right, I'll get started. And if there are any other questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Any questions for me as well as I'm going through this. And I will also follow up a little bit more, with Corey as we go. But I do want to build on what he said, because this is where it gets practical for you. Jeremy, this should answer hopefully a few of your questions. But the main thing here to note is that AI mode is not just an experiment at this point. It is coming. For some people, it is already fully rolled out. For others, obviously, it is something that is headed our direction very soon. Not the default yet, but it is going to be. And we've already been seeing, as Corey mentioned, all of the AI features in search for the most part, as far as getting AI overviews and things like that, anytime you search for things. We've been talking about AI for a while, and the ways that we can use AI and the way that we optimize for AI and the way that it's going to affect search over time. We've been seeing those numbers on search drop for a while, on click-through rates on websites and things like that. We've been answering questions for our clients about this for quite a bit. So this is not something that is particularly new or something that is surprising for us in any way. But technically AI mode is not the default yet, but it is coming. In the meantime, there are a few things that you can really do to be able to show up in AI mode, because that is the goal at this point, is to show up there so that people are looking for you more. And we don't want to completely reinvent the wheel when it comes to search and when it comes to your internet presence. It's not that you need to not have a website. It's not that you need to not be out there because you think that nobody is seeing you anymore. It's going to be a little bit different. The website is still critical. It is still number one, because AI, the majority of what it pulls is coming from your website if you are asking about you specifically. So you want to make sure that your website is set up properly so that it answers the questions that people are asking, so that the content is there and the content is good. You still are not going to see as many click-throughs to your website. And one of the big things that we've been talking about is making sure that as we do reporting and things like that, and as you're looking at metrics, you're looking at conversions over looking at click-throughs to your website, because a lot of times what we're seeing as people do get to your website through AI mode or through search is that when they get to you, they are more qualified leads typically. So we're seeing higher conversion rates. So that's one thing to note as you are seeing website clicks drop off a little bit. The main thing you want to be doing is showing really, really good expertise in your industry. Content is king. Content has been king since search became a thing, and that's not going to change. But the most critical thing that you need to be doing is showing expertise in your area. You want to provide really good quality content. You don't want the content that you're putting out there to be super generic. You don't want it to be super boring. And you especially don't want it to be written specifically by AI, because Google will ding you for that. You can use AI as a base, but we recently did a case study, Corey did, on our website, where we did content that was written all by AI, content that was written AI human, and content that was written specifically by the human. Every time the human content won out on both clicks and engagement. And then it was human AI, and then AI was last. So you want to make sure that as you're doing this, you are putting out really quality human content that has really good information in it. That is one of the main things that you want to be taking a close look at. And then there's also recency bias is a big part of AI when we're looking at this. That basically means that the more recent your content is, the more likely Google is to be ranking you in these AIs. I'll say ChatGPT has recency bias. A bunch of the other AIs do as well. They want to see up-to-date recent content that is also completely relevant to the user. So the more that you can get in there and do that, the more likely people are going to be able to find you in AI and have you, surface in some of these different queries that people are putting in. And it's going to be a little bit less about keywords and a little bit more about credibility at this point. So one thing that we really want to note is that you don't just want to be doing the content on your website. Yes, that is number one. Yes, that is where we start. But the next really big piece of that is making sure that you are showing up in reviews, that you're getting plenty of Google reviews from your clients, making sure that you are on social media so that you have somewhere else that these AIs can reference you and be able to pull you, so that Google AI can be able to reference information there and pull that information. Basically, the more places you are on the web, the better. So you want to make sure that you're out there with good information, that people are leaving reviews for you, that you are soliciting reviews from clients that have had good experiences with you, and that you are continuing to tell your story genuinely and providing really quality content that is going to answer questions. So that's kind of the
Coral,
base of that. Yeah.
can I interrupt? And
Yeah,
for
please
those
do.
of you, for those of you in the room, I am having extreme technical difficulties, which is why I'm limited in my participation, but I can't help myself. I saw Vicky was in the room, being published in other publications, appearing on podcasts and webinars, press releases. Those kinds of things are all really important, especially if the other venue, if you will, it has a high domain authority and high authority with all the AI platforms. So, it's really time to start thinking outside the box on how, when, where you're crafting AI or crafting content. LinkedIn and Reddit are becoming very, very important venues for your content to appear. Substack. So if you're not exploring some other areas, you're really missing the boat on opportunities to appear.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think the idea is with these AIs is to be showing up. You want to show up as many places as you can where your authority can be found, for AI to be able to rank you. So doing thought leadership, I mean, as Christine just pointed out, LinkedIn is changing their algorithm to serve up more personalized content. 100% correct. We've been reading a lot about that lately. And as that's been happening, the socials are also becoming more important in Google AI because it is referencing those. The more places that you see it, the more it's getting referenced. So you want to make sure that you are putting out information that makes you a thought leader and that shows that you are associated with this business. And that's how you're going to get found at this point, because AI is, people a lot of times are asking questions with AI that are, what is the best duct cleaning company in Maryland? So in order to basically get answers to that question, it's going to reference social media. It's going to reference reviews. It's going to reference websites. Yeah, Duck Doctor, I know, Howard. It's going to reference all of those things, which is how you end up showing up for queries like that when people are looking them up in AI.
So Jeremy asked about Reddit and what are some strategies there. And this is one, I'll let Corey and Coral address it more specifically, but what I can say is carefully, very, very carefully. If you go in like a bull in a china shop, the Reddit community will destroy you. So there needs to be a strategy, a thought process, and you need to understand that community. If you just jump in and start self-promoting,
you're in trouble.
You're done.
Yeah. Reddit is not something that we take lightly around here because Reddit is a very
unforgiving,
aggressive community. Yeah, they and so it's important if you're in Reddit that you are providing, as we talked about, authentic content. So you have to be really careful. Yeah, Jeremy, that's exactly it. You don't promote, you give good info. The more authentic content you can pop in there without promoting your business, the better you're going to do. People will show up naturally if they think that you are giving good info, but you cannot go in there promotion heavy. The other thing I'll note, I have a call with Reddit this afternoon. So I'm getting ready to have a little bit more information based on Reddit too for all of this. Figuring out what we can do to work with them and what we can do to work with the brands that we work with to give them as much good info as possible.
And I think in
those are good questions.
I think in the Reddit community, Jeremy took the words out of my mouth. You need to answer as a person. And I would not, in my brain, I don't think starting the threads are the way to go. I think joining in as a contributor is the way to go. They are so quick to notice people that are trying to start a thread for self-promotion. But at the same time, you've got to be active, because if a thread's already got 82 million answers and you're just jumping in and saying the exact same thing, you're not adding to the conversation in a constructive way.
And Corey has the most experience with Reddit probably in this group. So do you have anything to share there as well? I mean, I know it's more personal than business, but do you have anything to share there?
I tried to quit Reddit a while back. It really is about being helpful. So for Jeremy's own use case, I would say just be helpful. You've got a lot of experience in your industry. You've got a lot of good information that you can share with people. Just share it. Don't worry too much about trying to promote the business. Obviously, if you try to do that, you're going to get banned before you know it. So if you just go to the various subreddits related to the industry, and you just go and you find people who have questions that they need answered, that you know that you can give them good information on, that's how you build karma. That's how you build credibility on the platform, and ultimately that's how you're going to bring business to your website or bring business to your business, because people will see that and they'll know that you're somebody who's trustworthy and worthy of their business. So it's really all there is to it. I mean, it sounds like it's really easy, but it's definitely it's tough. It's not. It's something that relies on a lot of knowledge and experience to be able to do well.
Yeah. And it requires some nuance, making sure that you are answering, as Corey pointed out, with experience and knowledge and not with promotion. So it's very important to be nuanced when you're in there.
All of this is tough. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is. It is. All of this is very tough. And there is a lot. I think AI has its pros and cons. And for businesses, I think it definitely has its pros and cons. But one of the things is that it's changing the way that businesses have to show up. And it's a whole lot of info. So, yeah, you're right. It's definitely tough. And it's a lot to take in, which is part of the reason we do these, so that we can at least give you the information and then figure out, what your next steps are from there. But there's a lot to digest here, especially as AI is changing the landscape in general. So you're correct. All right. Any other questions there real quick before we kind of move on to the next piece of the IO and marketing piece? All right. We'll keep an eye on chat in case any others come up. But in the meantime, Corey is going to talk a little bit about Ask YouTube.
Before I do that, I'm going to go a little bit off of the script and talk a little bit about Google Business Profiles, because I think that this is something that we need to emphasize, is the importance of having a Google Business Profile. If you are a local business with a location, or even if you are a local business with a service area, Google Business Profile is a Google product. Therefore, if Google AI is looking for reliable, reputable sources for their outputs, Google Business and Google Maps is a very, very good place to get that information. So you're going to want to make sure that if you are a good fit for Google Business Profile, which most of the people in here I would assume is, that you should make sure that you have it claimed, that you have all the information filled out, that all the information is accurate. According to statistics, 2.7x, consumers are 2.7x more likely to view a business as reputable if its Google Business Profile was complete. If your Google Business Profile was complete, you get 7 times more clicks than incomplete ones. And this stat blew my mind. And I know it's only from 2022 and it's probably different now, but still, that was only 4 years ago. 58% of businesses do not optimize for local search, and only 30% have a local SEO plan in place. So if you even just have a plan and you start thinking about local search, you're already better than half of the businesses out there. So if you haven't started, now's a good time to start. Um, Now, ask YouTube. This one was really interesting, actually. And I know that video for a lot of small businesses is very tough. It takes time and effort to produce a video. Um, but if you haven't and you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel or sharing video content, um, this is a good opportunity. So instead of typing a search query into Google, having it bring up or into YouTube, having it bring up a list of results, clicking on the video, watching the beginning part of the video before you get to whatever answer that you're looking for. Google unveiled Ask YouTube, which is powered by their Gemini model, and it allows you to ask questions to YouTube. And the results that it'll bring up in the output from the AI will include links to specific YouTube videos that answer that question. And it doesn't just give you the video. It will actually drop you in at the exact moment of the video where the content creator talks about whatever is related to your search query. So it's really interesting. The example they gave in the IO video, Sundar was like, "Oh, I have a 3-year-old who has who can ride a bike with training wheels, but now I want to teach her how to ride with a bike with pedals. How do I do that?" And it brings up a list of videos. It gives you like the written explanation, like here's how you train a child to ride a pedal bike, and it showed the video 4 minutes in where it just starts talking about how to do it, which is pretty cool, I think. Um, right now, it's live for YouTube Premium members. Um, we'll see whether or not that seems like it's a feature that could end up in the general YouTube product, or it could stay a paid only feature. I don't think they actually said. But what that does mean is that if you've been thinking about video content, it's a good time to do that. You have a framework for uh, how to structure the video, how to do like the metadata and all that. If you have videos already, you have to make sure that they're set up and optimized properly. So you're gonna have to do transcripts, chapter markers if you can, descriptions, and this just generally good content, just like you would on your blog. You want to have good, helpful content. Um, so yeah, if you've been putting off YouTube and it's just something that's always on like in the future, um, it might be a good time to get it going.
Yep, agreed. I will also say too with YouTube, I've seen something similar in Google when I've searched Google and a video has come up from YouTube and it will drop me off right at the spot. So it's interesting that they're trialing it with paid YouTube subscribers because I've definitely seen that happen in Google when I've looked things up. Specifically, a couple weeks ago, I went to mow my lawn with a riding mower for the first time, and I spilled a little bit of gas on the outside of the mower, and I'd never done this before, and my husband wasn't home. Nobody was around for me to talk to, so I looked it up and I was like, if I start this mower with a little bit of gas on it, will it explode? And luckily the answer was no, and I did not explode. But it was funny because it will drop me off right in the right places. I had also checked it to learn how to turn the mower on because that was a new thing for me, and it dropped me right where I needed to be because it's a John Deere tractor, right where it showed me exactly how to turn the whole thing on. So it's been interesting to watch, and it's like I'm grateful that they're doing that, but it's interesting to me that they're just starting to do that on YouTube because I've definitely seen it in Google search before.
It could just be a something that it's like very specific, like this is how you do
Yeah.
this instead of like the general, Gemini or search product. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's a cool one. I like that one. Anybody have any questions about YouTube and how that kind of works? Yeah, it does, Christine. I agree with you.
So for those of you that didn't see that, if you have chapters in the video, it finds things better than if you don't have chapters in the video.
Yeah, same with transcripts.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be adding transcripts to all your videos regardless for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, transcripts help for a few reasons. They help with, for SEO purposes, makes it easier for it to read the video. And then for ADA, which is if you haven't watched anything that we've done so far about ADA, making sure that it's compliant for people with disabilities. So it helps people, like anybody using a assistive technology for hearing specifically, having the transcripts pop up is really helpful. Jeremy, optimal time is going to depend on exactly where you're putting the videos and what kind of videos they are. So if you're doing shorts, we're looking at like around 30 seconds or so typically. But for longer videos, you can do, it really depends on the content. Some people are going to want the longer videos where it's things like this, where we're doing a webinar and giving a lot of information. And for others, they're going to want to do shorter. So it's really dependent upon the specific content and what the goal is with the content. And obviously, you're not going to do chapters if it's like a short or if it's a 2-minute video. Sometimes there's no need for chapters. But if you're doing something like this, where we're doing this webinar, we're going to go in and upload this to YouTube later. So we're going to separate it based on the different topics that we're currently talking about. And we can create chapters based on, the first thing that we covered, introduction, the second thing that we covered where we were talking about, the beginning of the IO thing and AI mode is the default. And we're going to move into the next chapter. That way, whatever you want to hear specifically, you get a chance to pop in there and listen to. Dan asked, should you make longer 60-second videos into shorts and a supplemental search video as a supplemental video? I recommend cutting things down and turning them into shorts. It definitely will help you get more views on that, and then it can drive people to watch the longer versions. It's a really good way to repurpose your content so that you have more value out of one piece of content. And that's one thing we're working on right now is we're going to take videos like this where we're doing the webinars, we're going to cut them up into smaller pieces where we're giving, the little important nuggets of information and use them on YouTube Shorts, on TikToks, on Reels, different places, so that we're getting a little bit more use out of that type of video. And it will also help too if people are looking for very specific questions, prior to that rolling out to everybody, they can find the video with very specific question that's a shorter video. If that makes sense.
It's just easier to do too. You don't have to do several different storyboards, concepts. You shoot the footage, you make a long form video, then you take that and cut it into a short form and you just use it again. Like, I feel like in creative industries, it's very easy to fall into the trap of like every idea needs to be original, but really you just need to have some good ideas and try to get them in as many forms as possible. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Well, and video shoots are expensive, so you want to get the most for your buck. If you can get one long form and 20 shorts out of it, you're really increasing your opportunity and decreasing your overall cost per video.
And typically I recommend too, when you're taking those videos, use the transcript, turn it into a blog article, use the transcript and turn it into 5 different tiny social media pieces. However many ways you can repurpose a big piece of content, do it, because it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and it's going to save you brain power. And AI is actually really helpful for this too. So if we take, this long video, we pop it into AI and we say, hey, give me the 3 top takeaways and the times that they're at based on the transcript, AI will do that. And then we can break it down and decide how we want to reuse the content so that we have ideas there. And it saves a lot of time and energy. and gives you a lot of other ways to use that content that you already put all of the thought into. So yeah,
that's
Christine.
brilliant.
Yeah. Christine said she's building an AI agent now that's going to work on something like that, from one video and transcript to create 6 different assets. And that's exactly what we're talking about, where it's when you have your AI do that, it saves you so much time and it gives you a lot to use in different places. So highly recommend that. That's a great tip, Christine.
And one of the out of the box solutions for video that is very user friendly is Midjourney. I'm by no means a video maven, but I've been able to do some things with Midjourney, who by this time has probably been bought out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to use video, so do recommend that as well. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Happy to chat about it a little bit too. So the last major theme that we want to touch on here is agentic commerce. And I have some notes here too, but I want to kind of let Corey take this and talk a little bit about it. And then I'll talk some more about how you can use it if you are e-com. Most of our clients are not heavily e-com, so we probably won't spend a lot of time on this, but it's still an important part of the new Google experience. So I'll let Corey kind of cover a little bit about what this is.
Sure. Yeah. AI buying things for users is something that we've been hearing a lot about for the last couple of years. But it seems like it's starting to really pick up a lot of steam. Google has introduced a lot of features at their I/O, say AI conference because it really feels like an AI conference, but I/O conference. That's specifically designed to facilitate AI transactions. The biggest announcement that I think that they made was the universal cart. So this is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a universal cart. It's a cart for anything that you want to buy, and it's all hosted by Google. And it gives you 2 different options for making a purchase. You can either complete the purchase at the retailer's website directly, or you can just give your payment information to Google and have it take care of it. It also has a bunch of AI features, such as alerting if there's a sale on the items that are in your cart, coupon codes, that sort of thing. It's something that it's another move that Google is making to try to become a one-stop shop for everything. The I think that the big problem that people will rightly point out is, well, how do you prevent the AI from charging your credit card when you don't mean it to? But I think that they are developing safeguards and guardrails to make sure that that doesn't happen. But yeah, again, Google was a one-stop shop. You go to Google to get product information, to do your comparison research, to put items that you want to buy in your cart, and then you just give them your credit card and they buy it. So it's pretty big. As far as what that means for our clients, I think it's just going to point to the importance of making sure that your website is able to be read and understood by AI agents. I know that a lot of our clients don't necessarily have e-commerce features, but I bet a bunch of you have auto schedulers that your clients use to make appointments.
Reservations.
Reservations, yeah. So you definitely have you definitely have some systems. I mean, at the very least, you've got a form fill, I would imagine. So making sure that your form fill is able to be understood by an AI agent, and we're still learning right now what that all entails on a technical level. But it's something that's developing very fast. And it's something that we want to be on top of, especially as AI agents become more widespread and more widely used. So, kick it back to you, Coral.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, from this standpoint, Jeremy asked when the robots are taking over next year. Possibly, hopefully not. One thing I will say about all of this is that it's AI is going to be, I think, it's obviously huge right now. It is all anybody asks about. Anytime I jump on a call, one of the first things people ask me, whether it's a potential partner call, a client call, anything, it is almost always, how are you using AI for your workflow? I get that question literally all the time. So AI obviously is huge right now, but I think that it's going to be an interesting thing because it's always very, very exciting, huge at the beginning. Anytime we get a new technology shift like this, and I don't think AI is going anywhere, obviously, but I think there is going to be some balance eventually where it becomes a little bit more of it is going to be an assistive technology. It is going to be integrated into our everyday lives, but I think it is going to be a little bit less of a obvious in your face, everything is changing 24/7 situation before too long. So I think that that's something to keep in mind too, as we're talking about all this, because right now it feels like the Wild West of SEO days all over again, where we're all just kind of relearning what the best things are to do and how to make Google happy and how to make the AI agents happy and where everything is going. And it feels a little chaotic right now, but I think it will eventually level out as it always does. And the robots can't take over too much because eventually we'll take it back. So not too worried. So hopefully no time soon. But and the other thing to mention that Corey was talking about with making sure that if you have the e-com site or whatever it is, that it is properly optimized, critical, because you want AI and you want Google to easily be able to find everything. I've had people ask me on calls recently, hey, is it even worth it to have a website? Because, AI is everything right now. Is it even worth it to optimize my website, to have my website look nice? My answer is always going to be the same. It is yes. And it's not just because I work in websites, but also because you need a front page, you need a brochure, you need a place where people can come and see who you are and what you're about. They're still going to make it to your website. People are going to see the information in AI about who you are and what you do. And they're going to go to your website, they're going to look at it, and they're going to decide whether or not they like you. So the information is still there. It's still important to have. And then on top of that, having it properly optimized so that you can show up in things like the e-com universal cart, or whenever the schedulers are going to start popping up and things like that, because it's going to continue to go that direction. Better optimized, the better information, the easier it is for AI and Google to find you, the more likely they are to surface you.
Well, also you need a repository for all that content.
Your website is the source of truth.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's your Bible, if you will. It's where you put all the information that the AI is going to surface in the in the results. So if you don't have a website, what's it gonna look for?
Yeah, the thought experiment is that you would build your business off word of mouth, and you would get all these third-party citations from, publications or wherever. But let's say that a user finds your business through AI because it cites all these third-party citations. They're going to want to go to your website and figure out when you're open. They're going to want to figure out where you do your business. They're going to want to call you. You're going to need to have some information out there. So your website is your trust marker. It's how you prove to people that you're actually in business. So
yep.
Yeah, you'd got to have a website, even if it's just something that just has your phone number and a form. Like, I don't know, that just seems crazy to me.
Agreed. All right, cool. So I'm going to pop this over to Gina to kind of bring it home. And then anybody who has any questions as we wrap up in the last 10 minutes of this, please feel free to pop any more questions you have in. This is really kind of, the critical piece here. So we're happy to answer questions and chat about it. We're also happy to answer any questions after. If you scroll back up in chat, I popped in mine, Corey, and Gina's LinkedIn accounts, as well as our email addresses. So feel free to reach out to any of us. And now I'm actually going to turn it over to Gina. So go ahead.
Because I've been very helpful on this thus far. So in closing, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. Everything we said today will probably change tomorrow. We're here as a resource. We will send this video out to everybody. We will also send Corey's longer article about this. It's invaluable for you as a business owner or a marketing person within a business or a business helping other businesses. If you have any questions, you can simply reply to that email. You can use our individual contact information. If there's a way that we can help you with any of the above, SEO, AIO, GEO, content creation, whatever, we're here for you as a resource. Clients and non-clients alike, feel free to reach out with any of the questions that you have. We have about 8 minutes left. Does anyone have anything burning that they would like to ask either Corey, Coral, or myself before we give you your day back and I get to go back to vacation with my mother? Not seeing anything come through.
While we wait there, I'm just going to give the last few takeaways. If there is anything that you take, I always like to wrap up with just like one piece of, if there's anything that you do today or tomorrow, my recommendation is to go take a look at your website, make sure that your information is correct and up to date, and look at your Google business profile and make sure that your information is up to date and correct. After that, content, and then getting out there. So main thing, first thing, make sure that your website is solid, then Google business profile. Aside from that, think about video. If you're running ads, keep an eye on how the AI tools are doing everything and what is surfacing based on that. If you're a client who is running ads with us, feel free to ask Corey questions. He is more than happy to answer. I say speaking for him. But he has a good amount of experience here and is, keeping an eye on all of that as always. So I know it feels like a lot, but it is, we'll get there and we're growing with it. There's always some growing pains. Rest assured that everybody is having them. Everybody is experiencing them, but we'll get through it all together and we will make sure that everything is running how it's supposed to.
I think in closing too, I just want to offer to the attendees, there is some code on people's websites, not everyone, that prohibits the LLMs from crawling your site. We do run audits to try and suss that out and offer ways to present that content that is not problematic to the LLMs reading you. We are happy to run those audits as a courtesy for any of the webinar attendees. So if you would like us to do that, feel free to send it over and we'll give you, what your options are. Sometimes we have a client that had an accordion, changing that accordion out to something different. There's some simple solutions. Sometimes your website needs to be rewritten, unfortunately, but we try and come up with simple solutions to the problems before we go, nuclear on the whole site.
Yep. Corey, any final thoughts?
Just don't panic. everything is fine. It's
I feel like the dog, everything is fine with the fire in the background.
It's tough when you read every day about a brand new AI thing, or Google will say, this is not at all relevant for AI search. And then the next day they'll be like, actually, we lied. This is very, very important for AI search. So don't panic. We're really doing our homework and trying to understand how this thing is evolving over time. I think that as a general rule of thumb, your basic good SEO practices are still very good at getting you most of the way to good AI optimization practices, and as long as you can focus on helping your customers and being a good local business, I don't think that you have any cause to worry about getting seen in AI. I think that sort of reputation is going to build on itself, and it's going to help. So just keep an eye on your local SEO and your Google business profile, and making sure that the information on your website is accurate and good, and you're gonna do fine. I believe in you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for attending. We will be here next month. I'm not sure what our topic is at this point. We were trying to plan them out, but things keep changing so quickly. Our calendar of event changes as quickly as all the rules around AI and AIOs.
Actually, we do have the topic for next month. We are talking about AI workflows and ways to optimize them, which we are looking forward to for you specifically, given your current AI workflow obsession. So I'm really looking forward to hosting with you next month.
Yes, I am. I'm a programming fool, so I can't wait to share some of my tips and tricks with all the people. So
yep.
Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, summer. Be safe out there, and we'll see you same time, same station next month.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.